friends. Welcome to this week's solo episode of the podcast. I'm just getting my notes here set up. I pressed record before I was ready. Okay, so let's go ahead and just jump right in. So today's topic is going to be double standards in parenthood. Before we get into that, I want to give like a couple quick updates, life updates. So if you listen to the episode, the last solo episode, so this would have been like 2 episodes ago by the time this one comes out. Um, you know that I quit my corporate job last week, and this is the first week that I have actually been like not working at my corporate job and my kids are in school. The day after my last day at my corporate job, ironically, my kids were sick, which was kind of hilarious because I was really excited that first day to jump into work, get organized, get my shit together, right? And my kids were sick. So I didn't get any of that done. They were home from school, which is fine. That's just like how it is to be a parent, right? But I got a couple DMs and questions from people about leaving my corporate job, and I wanted to talk about them on the podcast. So the first question that I got, and this is exactly what she said. She said, "Are you keeping the girls in daycare? I have so much guilt that my girls are in daycare slash school and feel so guilty since I work from home." Okay. Yes. Okay. So, I mean, the answer to your question is yes. The girls are still in daycare slash school. So, my oldest daughter is in kindergarten and she's in school 5 days a week. School ends in like 2 or 3 weeks for summer. So, she's going to be out all summer. And then my little one is 3. She's in daycare, and my mom also helps watch her 2 days a week. When my older daughter is out of school for summer, she's going to be going to daycare, the same daycare that my little one goes to. And then my mom is also going to watch her as well. So I do have full time daycare for my kids, even though I am working from home and I'm working for myself. I have been a remote employee since 2020 when the pandemic happened. For 4 years, I've been working from home for eBay in corporate. And so like my environment in which I am working is not any different. Like I have an office set up. Everything is the same as far as that goes. I am working remote. So nothing changes for that, but what changes for me is just the flexibility that I have where I am working for myself. So if I need to, drop something off at my daughter's school in the middle of the day, I can, and I don't have to feel stress or pressure, that I have to quickly do it on my lunch and then hurry back. Like I have that flexibility to do what I need to do for my family, and I'm not late to work or I don't have to make up time. Like anything that I put into my business is what I'm going to get out. And what I'm realizing too over the last couple of days as I've been trying to get organized, like I kind of initially thought I would have a lot more free time. And I mean, I do in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways I don't. This is very much a full-time job, running a small business, creating content, showing up online, and creating this podcast is very much a full-time job, 40-hour-a-week job. Now, I don't know how many hours like I need a week necessarily, because the way I've been operating for the last year especially has been like flying by the seat of my pants. So it'd be like, oh, I have 5 minutes between this meeting, like I'm going to quickly record a TikTok video and post it, right? And there was just like no strategy to it, and I was just kind of flying by the seat of my pants, just trying to like eke by and get what I needed to get done. um Even this podcast, it's like I was supposed to have this done yesterday and I'm just getting to it now because I'm just barely getting things done by the time that they need them. And I'm really trying to get ahead of it now that I have more free time. My point in telling, like saying all that is that I don't know how many hours it takes to do what I'm doing because I wasn't ever like time tracking. I was just like doing things like here and there, like 20 minutes here, an hour there, a few hours on the weekends when my kids are with their dad, like things like that. So I don't really know what the time commitment is going to be. But I have a feeling after the last few days, today's Tuesday, so I worked Friday and then Monday and then today, I have worked full-time hours, 9 to 5, or, whatever, like pretty close. So it's very much full time. And that's what I'm realizing. As far as like daycare goes and the guilt, like I get it. I feel like the pandemic made people think that they can work from home and do a good job and also raise their kids and watch their kids. Um, I personally do not believe that you can do both things at once. I mean, think about it this way. Like imagine you hire a nanny and the nanny is like, "Okay, yeah, I can watch your kids, but I'm also going to be working my job. Like I can work it from my laptop. I can do it whenever, but I do need to be, working this job from 9 to 5." What? No. Like no, I am hiring you to watch my kids, not to do your job and watch my kids because you can't really do a good job watching my kids while also doing your job. So why would we expect mothers to do that? And I feel like you never hear about dads being expected to work from home and sacrifice for their family by watching the kids and saving money while also doing their full-time job, even if they are remote. Like I literally never hear about that. It's always women who are doing it, women who are sacrificing themselves. And don't feel guilty about that. Do not feel guilty about putting your kids in daycare. And the way that I like to think about it too is like my kids are having a better time in daycare, playing with friends, having stimulus, like not sitting in front of a TV than they ever would at my home while my attention is divided and I'm trying to do two things at once. So I just put them in front of the TV or the iPad or whatever. Like they are having a better experience. It is better for literally every single person involved if your kids go to daycare while you're working. Like, trust me on this one. The other question that I got is like, how are you structuring your days? So I'm structuring my days. I'm planning on structuring my days the same that I have structured them when I was working my corporate job. I still am working full-time hours. I plan to work basically 9 to 5, but obviously I'm going to have that flexibility to do what I need to do. Or if I want to go to the gym one day, I can do that. Excuse me. And, but I think the way that I'm going to structure it as far as like my ADHD goes is that on certain days, I want to be able to focus on one thing. So, for example, maybe on Mondays, it's like, this is the day I'm going to record my podcast episodes, do my solo episodes, schedule guests, create all of my social clips, schedule my YouTube videos to go live, to basically do everything that I need to do for my podcast on that day. So I'm not ping ponging around or doing one task and being like, oh, but I didn't finish uploading the social clip. So now I got to go back to the episode, like figure out, okay, where was like the point I wanted to grab the clip? Like, where's the hooks? And then do it. Like, I just want to do it all at once. And I feel like that's going to make me more effective and work. I basically just want to work smarter, not harder. That is like my whole goal. And then maybe another day it will be, doing my reconciling for my, my bills and my expenses for my On Your Way Co business and doing the social media and marketing on those days. Like that's the way that I want to structure my days, but it's very much, I would say 9 to 5 with flexibility. Being a content creator, I feel like it's such a bad rap. Like people think that being a content creator is doesn't take time. Like you just, oh, I'll just quickly upload this video. But there's so much more that goes into it. You have to always be on. You have to constantly be creating content. Editing takes so long, especially like those vlogs. If you guys ever watch like creators who do vlogs and they're like 30 seconds to a minute long and they're like all these short clips, like to go really fast to hold your attention and then to do a voiceover and add music and then do the captions and put it on TikTok and then upload it to Instagram and then put it on YouTube and then engage with the comments. Like it's a never ending cycle and I'll never complain about this job because I'm so, so grateful. I love the community that I have. I'm truly living like a passion of mine. Like I never thought I would be able to do this. And so I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying that it's very much a full-time job with full-time hours. And a lot of time people don't think that it is. So yeah, so that's how I'm structuring my days. And that kind of goes back to childcare. I have full-time childcare because I need it, because this is a full-time job. Okay, perfect. The other thing before we move into today's topic, I'll just talk really quickly about this. I know it's sometimes like hard for me to talk quickly about something. But I also want another life update is custody changes. So we recently changed our custody schedule. So now we're doing a 2-2 or a 2-2-3-2-5. I don't know. But basically, to make it simple, basically we are doing, Cody has them every Monday and Tuesday. I have them every Wednesday, Thursday, and then we rotate weekends from Friday through Sunday. So there'll be some days where we have them 2 days, and then sometimes where we have them for 5 days. I talked about this before, but I was really burned out on the schedule we had before, which was a 9-5. So I had my kids for 9 straight days. And literally by like day 6, I was just like running on fumes. My patience was so thin. I wasn't showing up the way that I wanted to as a mom. And ultimately, I felt like it was the right thing to do to change the schedule. Now, especially now that my girls are well adjusted to going back and forth between 2 homes. That was one of the biggest reasons why we did the 9-5, is because we didn't want our kids transitioning back and forth so often, because the transitions were really hard for them for like the first 6 to 9 months. Now that they're used to that and they kind of know what to expect, I feel more comfortable moving to the schedule where we're transitioning more often. Okay, awesome. I will leave that there. But today's topic, you guys, today's topic is double standards in parenthood. So try not to be triggered by this, but this was sparked by some comments I received the last couple of weeks where I noticed a theme. I noticed a lot of people were saying in so many words that they felt guilty that they were not raising their kids because their kids are in daycare. This kind of goes back to that first question that I received about putting your kids in daycare when you do work from home. But I have to just stop you right there. And I need to say this very clearly. Just because your kids are in daycare, it does not mean you aren't raising them. You are still their parent. You are still the one who creates and sets the rules. You model the behavior to your kids. You're still the one who wakes up with them in the middle of the night. You take care of them when they're sick. You create their schedules. You sign them up for extracurricular activities. You're financially responsible for them. Like, you are the one who is still raising your kids, even though you are not watching them during working hours, right? And also, by the way, literally no one has ever told a working dad that they aren't raising their kids because they work outside of the home. Like, full stop. So we need to stop using the phrase, I'm not raising them, or someone else is raising them because they're in daycare. And I know a lot of people say this because I think it's because we are kind of in this spot where like a lot of women have re-entered the workforce, and there's a lot of guilt associated with that, where women traditionally were the ones at home watching children, caring for children 24/7 while the husbands went to work. And now that more women than ever are in the workforce, we feel that guilt and we feel like, oh, we're not raising them. But here's the thing, like, if a dad works outside of the home, is he not raising his kids? No. No one has ever said that in the history of humanity. No one has ever said that. So why does it only apply to moms? Okay. So it's just like one double standard that just like really gets to me. And like, I know that people are well intentioned when they say this. Like, I went to like a family event last summer, and there was someone there, and they, we were talking about, she had a job before she had kids, and I think she did it for like a good 5 or 6 years after she had kids. And then she was like, yeah, it just got to the point where it was like, I don't want someone else raising my kids, and we could financially do it with my husband's income. And she didn't say it as like a dig at me or dig at any working parent. She just meant it as like, this is just like the language that we use, but language matters, right? And that's what these comments over the last week or so, people I was getting from people was like, they weren't calling me out. They weren't saying I wasn't raising my kids or anything. They were talking about it from their own personal experience, and the way that they think about it. But I think a lot of time that's subconscious. Like we aren't intentionally choosing that word raising our kids. I think it's just ingrained in us to think that if we are a woman and we work outside the home and our kids are in daycare, that we aren't raising them. But that is completely false. Okay, so now that I got that away, I'm gonna have a little sip of Diet Coke. Okay. So let's talk about some of the other ones that I have. I'm gonna pull up my notes really quick. I don't want to forget any of these ones. Oh my God. Okay. This one always gets me. Okay. Dad's babysitting. So I hate this, and I feel like I don't hear it as much as I used to when I became a first-time mom in 2017. I feel like with social media, this is kind of died down, but dads are not babysitting their kids. They are their parent. Full stop. Again, like no one says to a mom, "Are you babysitting your kids?" Or no one says to a dad, who's babysitting your kids tonight? Or is your wife babysitting your kids while you while you go play golf? No. No one says that. No one says babysitting your kids to a woman, because she's not babysitting her kids, and the husband's not babysitting his kids. Like they are his responsibility too. He's watching them, he's caring for them, he's being a parent. So that's one thing that also needs to stop. And I really think that like this really stems from, again, what I was saying before is like women have been expected traditionally to perform the bulk of household labor, even if they work outside of the home. And that goes for like child rearing too, right? So I think that's something that really needs to change. Okay, so this one happened. This double standard happened not too long ago, and I actually got on Instagram stories because I was so upset by it. I was so triggered by it. So Cody, that's my ex-husband. We have a great relationship. If you haven't been following me for a while, me and him have a really great co-parenting relationship. He came over to my house like a few months ago, and he was like, "Oh, I just, went to Harmon's. It's a grocery store here in Utah. And, I had the kids with me, and everyone was telling me, like 3 different people told me what a great dad I was." And he's like, "I just had the kids with me at the grocery store. Like I wasn't doing anything special." Like, and I mean, he is a great dad. He's an amazing dad. He's an amazing father. But like the number of times that I have taken my kids to the store or out or literally any place, I have never once been told that I am a good mom because I took my kids grocery shopping with me. If anything, I feel like I have been judged when my kid is throwing a tantrum on the aisles of Target and I can't do anything to get her to stop. If anything, people are thinking I'm a bad mom because my kid is making all this noise and being disruptive. No one has ever told me that I'm a good mom because of that. And like, it just bothers me so much. And I get why. I really think that this comes back again to the fact that women have always traditionally been the ones who are taking their kids grocery shopping, and they're the ones who are home, like doing all the child rearing and cleaning and errands and all those things. And now I feel like we are in a generation where, because more women are re-entering the workforce, and not even that, but like I feel like dads today are more hands-on than they ever have been and ever. And like because of that, they do more than they ever have. They take their kids grocery shopping. They, are holding their babies. Like I went on a flight, a couple months ago, and there was a dad holding a newborn baby. Like, and that like shocked me in a way. And it shouldn't shock me because that's the dad, but it's always been the mom before. Oh, the other one that I've been seeing a lot lately, and I'm like so proud that this is happening. But men who are baby wearing, like at the airport, I've seen so many men being the ones wearing the babies on the carrier, and I'm just like, That's amazing. And so here I am also making like, making comments or think, I don't ever say it out loud, but like I'm thinking in my brain, like, oh my God, that dad is baby wearing his baby. And the mom is, she has her hands to do whatever she wants. Like, what? Like that wasn't my experience. My ex-husband didn't do that. Like, and he's a great dad and everything. And like, but like my dad definitely didn't do that. My dad like maybe changed a couple diapers, maybe, and it's like dads are more hands-on now. And so when you see that, when you're not used to it, because traditionally that hasn't been the case, it's like almost like a shock to your system. And in a way, you want to compliment the dad, like, great job. Wow, you're really showing up. But on the flip side, as a woman, it's like, well, no one literally ever tells me I'm doing a great job for baby wearing or, you know, holding my baby 24/7 or taking them to the grocery store. Like, no one says that to me. So it's just like a double standard. But I think it's just really interesting to think about why we think that way, and even catching myself, like, why am I looking at this dad thinking he's great? Because moms do that all the time. Moms do it all the time, you know? Um, yeah, so that's like another one that really gets me. Let's see what else. Oh my God. Okay. This one, I have a lot to say about this one. So, dating as a single mom versus a single dad. So, I'm divorced. I've been divorced for about a year and a half. And you guys, let me just tell you, dating today, it's true what they say. It is a complete shit show. Complete shit show. Like, every single person who is on a dating app, like men, like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to call out men right now. Men are assholes at this age. Like, I'm 34. And so, like, when I was on dating apps and I was like really trying to find someone, a partner, someone to date, just like put myself out there, like the number of times, like, I would match with so many guys and then they would just not respond to me. They would just ghost me. They would just, it's like, I feel like once they realized I was a mom, they didn't want anything to do with me. On my dating apps, like, I never put pictures of my kids. I would always just put like that I had kids. But as you're going through people's profiles, like, a lot of time I think people are just swiping or like clicking and matching. They're just looking at photos. They're not reading your full bio. Um, and so I chalk it up to, like, once people found out I was a single mom and I had two kids, they had no interest in me anymore. And that like really pisses me off, because as a woman, like, and just a single mom, like, you are not looking for a partner to come in and just like be some like your children's dad. Like, you are just looking for someone like for you. Like, you're not looking, like, of course you want them to like interact and like be a good person to your kids, at some point, but it's like, it's not that serious. Like, I'm on this dating app. I'm not looking for a life partner right now. Like, on my profile, it says I'm looking for something casual, or that, well, not casual. I did that for a while. And then my girlfriend actually told me, she's like, that means that you just want to hook up. And I was like, what? I thought it just meant like you're just like nonchalant. You're just like wanting to like go out to dinner and just see. Like, I'm not looking to hook up. I just want to see. So, but that's what my profile said, is like, I just want to like go out and see what's there. I'm not looking for a serious relationship. Like, I just got out of a marriage. But I feel like once men found out that I was a single mom and I had two kids, no longer interested. And that really pisses me off, because I am more than just a mom. Like, I have so much more to offer than just being a mom. And also, it's just not that serious. Like, let's just go on a date and see what happens, right? Anyway, but I don't feel like it's that way the other way around. I feel like when a man is a single dad, it's received differently. People look at him as like, oh, he's a single dad. He's a great involved father. He's present in his kid's life. He has his kids 50-50. Wow, what a great dad. But as a woman, it's like, oh, she's divorced? Like, what's wrong with her? What did she do? She must be crazy. Or she only has her kids half the time. Like, or she has her kids half the time. That's so much. That's a lot of work, right? And I mean, it is, but it just like pisses me off, because there's just so many double standards when it comes to being a single mom versus being a single dad when you're dating. And I just saw that firsthand and I was just like sick of it. So I'm not dating anyone. I'm not on the dating apps. I deleted my profiles because I was just so tired of it. And if you think for 2 seconds that someone is not going to care if you're a single mom dating you, like, I mean, I guess I could be wrong, but in my experience for the last almost 2 years of being single, I guess like a year and a half, that has not been my experience at all. Like, guys are just assholes. Like, is this just a Utah thing? Is this just like an everywhere thing? Like, I don't know what's going on. Okay. Tangent over. There's so many double standards. So I only have few more minutes before I want to wrap up this episode. Yeah, I mean, this just like goes back to kind of just everything I've been echoing already, but like dads dropping off their kids at school, picking them up, taking the kids to extracurricular activities. They're viewed as like such an involved dad. The other thing I wrote down is like when you are a dad and you go out and buy your kids ice cream or buy them McDonald's or pizza and bring it home, you are looked at as like a fun dad, or, you know, like you're a fun dad. You're a good dad. You picked up dinner. Like, the kids love you. You're going to eat pizza together. They're going to be happy. But when you do that as a mom, you feel like you're looked at as like a lazy mom because you didn't make a home cooked meal. And like, how could you feed your kids that? Let's see. As a mom, I wrote this down. Let's see. Oh my God. So okay, this is gonna be the last one I talk about. Like, this kind of goes back to themes of like being a working mom. But like, as a working mom, if you work outside the home and you are a mom, you are looked at as a selfish mom and a mom who's not raising her kids. But if you are a working dad, like, you are looked at as like a great provider. What else did I write? Sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought, you guys. Today is like kind of a sporadic day. Okay, I wrote, if you're a working mom, you're looked at as maybe selfish. And then if you're a stay-at-home mom, like, and then when you're a stay-at-home mom, like, you get no pat on the back, you get no thank you. No one is there to like tell you that you're a good mom. But I feel like that's just like never translated to like when you're a dad. Like, no one is saying those things to you. So okay, well, that is everything that I have here on my notes. You guys, if you have any like ideas or things that you want me to talk about on the podcast, please send me a DM over on either one of my accounts. I didn't sign up for this podcast on Instagram, or at honestly Caitlin on Instagram or TikTok. Send me a DM. Let me know if there is a specific topic that you want me to dive into. As we get into summer, you know, I'm sure that I'll have a lot more time to record these episodes. So I want to be a little bit better at being on top of it. I'm sure my editor will appreciate that as well. If I could just batch some of these episodes and have them ready to go and ready to be edited. So if you have anything that you want me to chat about, then just let me know. And then make sure to leave a review if you enjoyed this episode. I love reading the reviews and seeing what feedback that you guys have. So definitely do that. And we will chat next week.